Meet Sinestro, the cosmic troublemaker extraordinaire. As a top-notch threat to the interstellar peacekeeping force, he's a cautionary tale that even the nerdiest of nerds can't resist. Once upon a time, this guy was the epitome of a modern Green Lantern, keeping his sector squeaky clean with a lantern ring that packed more power than an over-caffeinated Pikachu. But oh, how the tables turned. It turned out that Sinestro was running his little slice of the galaxy like a comic book villain's fantasy. Dictatorship? Check. People living in fear? Double check. You could practically hear the evil cackles from space. Naturally, once his dastardly deeds got blown, he was banned, blacklisted, and booted from the Green Lanterns in one fell swoop. But that wasn't the end of his villainous tale. Oh no, not by a long shot. In this video, we're going to look at his abilities and enhanced physiology that propelled him toward his sinister goals. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Scare tactics. Sinestro can harness fear like nobody's business. When it comes to the emotional spectrum, this dude's got a PhD in fearology and is not afraid to flaunt it. Forget hope and will. Sinestro is all about the sweet, spine-tingling concept of fear. Did you know the Lantern Corps each represents a single word emotion? Blue Lanterns with their hope, Green Lanterns rocking the will, and then of course there's the Yellow Lanterns who embrace fear like a moth to a nightlight. But to hold your horses, it's not just about reading people's emotions. Like a shrink with a fancy power ring, oh no, Sinestro goes way beyond that. He's got an innate knack for understanding what really gives his minions the heebie-jeebies, even without his trusty ultraviolet power ring. This guy's like the ultimate fear whisperer. He knows what makes his Sinestro cores tick, and he knows how to push their terror buttons like he's playing a game of Simon Says. Think about it, a leader with an uncanny ability to get into the heads of his minions, knowing their deepest fears, dreams, and nightmares? That's like having a cosmic therapist who can wield fear like a weaponized therapy session. Scary yet impressive. So while other leaders might rely on pep talks and motivational posters to inspire their troops, Sinestro's got an eerie connection with his army that's second to none. He's the fear-fueled puppet master pulling the strings of his corps like a marionette show. He can survive a Royal Rumble. Hand-to-hand combat? Oh, you better believe Sinestro's got some serious moves up his glowing yellow sleeves. This dude's no stranger to duking it out, and he's learned his fisticuff finesse from the baddest martial artists on Kurugar, the top-notch trainers in the Cosmic Dojo. We're talking about a guy who's squared off against the notorious Lobo in a one-on-one showdown. You heard that right. Lobo, the one who's practically got a PhD in knuckle sandwiches and is hailed as one of the best hand-to-hand combatants in the entire DC universe. And guess what? Sinestro managed to give him a run for his money. It's like being able to beat The Rock in an arm wrestling match. It's that impressive. Here's a surprise. Sinestro doesn't even need his trusty ultraviolet power ring to throw down. That's right, he's so skilled in close quarters combat that he can give his enemies a cosmic smackdown without resorting to his fear-inducing ring. Imagine trying to fight a martial arts master who's also got a bling-bling weapon of fear in his back pocket. So when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, Sinestro's not just a threat. He's a walking, talking, butt-kicking headache for anyone who dares to cross his path. His fighting style is like a wild roller coaster ride. You never know what twist or turn he'll hit you with next. So the next time you see those yellow gloves and that menacing grin, just remember that Sinestro's got more than just fear in his arsenal. Playing offense and defense. Sinestro's force fields and energy blasts are no joke. They're like the cosmic version of a fortress made of adamantium, not literally, and powered by the Energizer Bunny. When it comes to force fields, Sinestro doesn't mess around. These ain't your grandma's flimsy shields. We're talking about barriers that can hold off the speed demon himself, the Flash. Yes, that's right, the guy who zips around faster than light on a regular Tuesday morning, but even the Flash couldn't penetrate Sinestro's unbreakable force fields. And let's not forget about his energy manipulation skills. Sinestro can bend and shape energy like a master origami artist, and he's not shy about unleashing his deadly ultraviolet energy blasts on anyone who dares to cross his path. Just ask Cyborg and Green Lantern, who, despite their superpowers combined, couldn't withstand the might of Sinestro's energy attacks. It's like being hit by a freight train being driven by the Hulk, there's no escaping the impact. Sinestro's power ring lets him create energy constructs too. Picture this. He's like a cosmic Lego master, building whatever he needs on the fly, whether it's a giant clawed hand to grab his enemies or a cosmic cannon to blast them to the far reaches of the galaxy. Sinestro's constructs are like Swiss Army knives of destruction. Sinestro is the real deal and he's not holding back when it comes to using his powers to gain the upper hand in any cosmic clash. Planetary Polygot. Ah, the wonders of the ultraviolet power ring. It's not just for glowing fashion statement, fellas. This shiny little bauble gives Sinestro a nitty ability that's the envy of every galactic polyglot. He can speak all the languages in the entire DC universe. He's got a galactic Google Translate on his fingers, quite literally. With this linguistic superpower in his back pocket, Sinestro became the ultimate smooth talker and persuader extraordinaire. Imagine being able to connect with beings from every corner of the universe speaking their language fluently and winning them over with a charisma that could rival Tony Stark's charm. Building an army was a piece of cake for Sinestro. Thanks to his language translation prowess, he could easily communicate with potential recruits and emotionally connect with them. Who needs Google Translate when you've got a power ring that speaks the language of the heart? And here's the icing on his space cake. If anyone dared to disagree with Sinestro's grand vision, he could simply unleash his other deadly superpowers on him. You might think simple translation isn't a big deal, but oh boy, when you look at the bigger picture, it's like having an entire galaxy of allies at your beck and call. Sinestro didn't just speak languages, he spoke the language of power, influence, and domination.
Jordan.
Sinestro's flight, soaring on obsidian wings. Sinestro's got the kind of flight that even Superman would envy. It's not your average up and away deal. Oh no, this cosmic maverick takes not just to the skies but to the cosmic void. Sinestro's rocking his trusty ultraviolet power ring, and with a flick of his villainous wrist, he conjures up an invisible sheet of lightning all around him. It's like riding a thunderstorm without getting wet. This electrifying aura lifts him off the ground, and boom, he's soaring through the cosmos faster than a Red Bull fueled rocket. Now, flying might seem like a standard superpower, but Sinestro's got a unique flair to it. Who needs a fancy superhero cape when you've got an invisible lightning sheet escorting you through the skies? It's like being the VIP guest at the greatest air show in the galaxy. And that flashy flight isn't just for show. When a superhero's giving him a tough time, Sinestro can pull off some aerial acrobatics that would make a fighter pilot blush. He's like a space ninja vanishing into thin air. So, while flight might not be the flashiest superpower in the Hero Handbook, Sinestro's electrifying take on it is nothing short of impressive. It's his secret escape plan, his cosmic joyride, and his ticket to high-flying hijinks. Can he reproduce? Oh, you bet your favorite comic book collection that Sinestro is capable of reproduction. Say hello to Serenic Natu, the apple of Sinestro's eye and leader of the corps that bear his name. This cosmic cutie is not only a skilled doctor, but also a former Green Lantern, proving that the apple doesn't fall far from the power ring. But let's rewind a bit and dive into the Sinestro family drama. As Sinestro started flexing his villainous muscles and rising to power, his wife Erin Soar wasn't too thrilled with his career choices. They had their fair share of arguments, and to make matters worse, threats started flying against Sinestro and his precious family. So what happened next? Well, Erin took their daughter Serenic and made a swift exit, leaving Sinestro with a hole in his sinister heart. Serenic ended up under the care of Carol and Gib Natu, who played a parental role in her life. But here's the kicker. Serenic had no clue about her true parentage, and the thought that the Natus were her flesh and blood. As the years went by, Serenic grew into a powerful force of her own. She decided to follow in her daddy's footsteps, kind of. She joined the Sinestro Corps to see if she could whip those yellow lanterns into shape and turn them into a force for good. Is he immortal? Oh, the age-old question, is Sinestro immortal or just the ultimate escape artist? Let's unravel the enigma. First things first, we're not 100% sure about his immortality. He may be a thorn in the side of the Green Lantern Corps, but he is no vampire sipping eternal life from a fancy goblet. We've seen him coming back from the afterlife for more than a few reasons. Moreover, he's just one persistent, tenacious villain who refuses to stay down. You see, Sinestro started out as a Green Lantern, wielding the power of the Emerald world ring like a pro. But as power often does, it corrupted him and he turned into a dictator who made life miserable for his sector. When the Lantern Corps tried to tame the wild power beast, Sinestro went rogue, and oh boy, did they try to lock him up. The Corps tossed him into science cells, their own cosmic prison, more times than Batman's faced the Joker. But every single time, like Houdini himself, Sinestro pulled off an escape that would make even the Flash raise an eyebrow. But here's where things get dicey. In one epic showdown, the Corps had enough of his mischief. After he blew up Kilowog's entire race, ouch, they put him on trial, found him guilty, and voted to execute him. Justice was served, right? Not so fast. Sinestro's death triggered a failsafe in the power battery, threatening to blow up the whole shebang. Now, that was just the first death of Sinestro, not his last. He's like the Cosmic Cat with more than a handful of lives, but probably not unlimited. How powerful is Sinestro? Sinestro looks like he's got more moves than a Marvel vs. DC crossover. This guy's a cosmic genius, always playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers. First things first, Sinestro is like the Yoda of power ring knowledge. He knows more about those shiny little bling-bling bands than anyone else, except for Raimi, the Guardian who invented the first ring and Phantom Ring, but we'll give him a pass. During his time in the Green Lantern Corps, Sinestro was the top dog when it came to understanding those emerald wonders. But here's the thing. He may not be straight up evil dude, but he's all about order and control. He's thinking so many moves ahead, it's like he's playing 4D chess with the entire multiverse. When it comes to being a leader, Sinestro doesn't mess around. He didn't just create his own course. The Sinestro course, he built in more safeguards than Fort Knox. Mongol thought he could snatch the course from him, but oh boy was he in for a surprise. Sinestro activated a safeguard during their fight and it was game over for the wannabe usurper. But let's talk about some real power moves. Sinestro managed to contain the fear entity Parallax and made it submit to his will. It's like walking your pet lion on a leash while having tea with Lex Luthor. That's how powerful this guy is. You think a 100% battery charge is impressive? Nah, not for Sinestro. When he was protecting those 3,600 sectors of the universe with his course, he managed to get his power ring up to a staggering 1,000%. That's like having a supernova in your pocket. And let's not forget that Sinestro is so fearless that he can conjure up a construct of Darkseid himself and not even flinch. Who does that? Someone with the kind of power that makes Superman jealous? That's who. With brains sharper than Batman's batarangs and power greater than a Kryptonian sun, Sinestro proves time and again that when it comes to cosmic power players, he's sitting pretty at the top of the supervillain pyramid. Does he have any weaknesses? Every superhero and supervillain has their kryptonite, and for Sinestro, it's all tied up in that snazzy power ring of his. While it gives him the juice to wield cosmic might, it also comes with a glaring weakness that can put a dent in his villainous plans. You see, Sinestro's power ring is no ordinary trinket. It's a yellow power ring, and that means it's fueled by fear, not the usual willpower. It's like wielding the dark side of the Force, except with a yellow glow instead of a red lightsaber. But here's the catch. The ring doesn't just channel Sinestro's will to dominate the universe, it amplifies his aggressive tendencies and turns him into a fear-inducing terror machine. It's like getting a heavy dose of villainous steroids injected straight into his bloodstream. And where does this creepy yellow power come from? Well, the yellow rings get their charge from yellow power batteries, and they're all linked to a central power battery based on Sinestro's home turf, Orugar. It's like a cosmic gas station, but instead of filling up your tank, it's fear that fuels the engine. Like every other power ring, Sinestro's ring has its recharge limitations. Even a cosmic battery can run out of juice if you don't stop for a top-up. And if a blue lantern happens to cross paths with Sinestro, watch out. Their power rings can drain the juice right out of his yellow power ring faster than a speeding bullet. It's like having your cosmic power source hijacked by a rival gang of lanterns. Sinestro's weakness isn't just a chink in his villainous armor, it's a full-blown Achilles heel. Marvelous verdict. In conclusion, Sinestro's anatomy is as fascinating and extraordinary as the character himself. As a member of the Korrigarian race, he possesses a humanoid form with all the physical attributes one would expect. However, it is his mastery over the yellow power ring that sets him apart and grants him abilities beyond mortal comprehension. Sinestro's anatomy is proof of the boundless possibilities that the world of comics can present. His unique combination of fear, intellect, and power makes him a figure whose legacy continues to intrigue and inspire. As we explore the multiverse of characters, Sinestro remains a standout example of the insane abilities of fictional beings. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.